Yeah, an overwhelming amount of my spending is... Why is a pie chart like this? Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joy. I am a 20-something engineer working and living here in New York City. In this week's video, we're going to be going over my spending and basically talk about how much I spent a week working and living alone here in New York City. Just some disclaimers up front. I know that living in New York is such a privilege and it's really expensive. If I were to live in a small town, I'd probably be able to afford a house with whatever I'm paying right now for rent, but I don't want to do that. People are going to comment that New York City is expensive and make judgment.
But you know what?
At the end of the day, I am living below my means. I am financially independent, and so it's my choice as to how I wish to spend my money. I also feel like living in New York is something you can only do when you're young, and it's something I've always wanted to do since I was like 5, basically. I believe that you can always make money for the rest of your life, but the time to enjoy certain things will not always be there. So in this week's video, we're first going to go over weekly expenses, how much I spent on Monday all the way through Sunday, and then at the end we're going to do a little bit of like monthly expenses to tally in and give a more accurate picture of how much I actually spend in a week. Okay, first I think I'm going to talk a little bit about like my money philosophy. I don't believe in tracking your spending to the T just because I feel like that gives me so much anxiety. I realize that tracking things gives me anxiety and I don't want to feel anxious about spending money because I work hard to get my money and I don't want to feel bad about it. So for the money that's like remaining after like my expenses, I normally either put it in the stock market. I do buy individual stocks. I know like buying the S&P is like better, but I like buying individual stocks. I put some in a high yield saving account. You get like returns for putting your money there. Lastly, I use that to invest in myself / my businesses, like my YouTube monthly expenses. I consider that also investing to myself. I have like other ventures right now going on, so I have to pour my money into that. So technically I'm not saving as much. Yeah, so that's a little bit about my money philosophy. Okay, so now we're looking at the spreadsheet. Let's start with Monday. So Monday I went into the office. I had to take a subway there and back, and one subway ride is $2.9, so it was a total of $5.8. The subway used to be $2.75, but they increased the fare after Labor Day to like $2.9, and we don't even have Wi-Fi, so why are we paying so much for what? Yeah, I can't really complain. It's not like I can Uber or walk to work, so that's like a fixed cost when I do go to work. And then for lunch, I use this subscription called Meal Pal, so you pay like I think $40. You get like a set of credits, and then when you want to have lunch, you just choose a meal from their app and then it gets prorated. It's a lot cheaper than getting lunch at like a nearby salad place. A nearby salad place, if you pay out of pocket, would probably end up being like $15. Chipotle is like $18. So I prefer using Meal Pal. Yeah, that specific lunch prorated to like $7.5. Afterwards, I got like coffee, snacks, everything from the Bloomberg office. So technically I didn't pay anything. Went home, made myself dinner. So it's because like I have ingredients from like I don't know when. So I would just put the cost in as $0. Okay, on Tuesday, the weather was really bad, so I decided to work from home. And normally I would be tempted to like go out and buy myself coffee or buy myself a snack because I'm working from home. But because the weather was really bad, I had no choice but to stay at home. I made myself lunch and I also made myself dinner. So I think the whole day I practically just worked and stayed at home. So the expense for Tuesday was actually $0. Yeah, $0. Can you believe that? But as the week goes by, the expense will increase. I wish it wouldn't, but it will. Okay, on Wednesday, I went to the office, back and forth, $5.8 for the subway. Another Meal Pal lunch. I got a salad. This time the salad prorated to $10.29, which is kind of pricey, especially because when I saw the salad, I realized that the tofu was like really small and I wouldn't be full, so I bought myself like vegan chicken nuggets and that was an additional $8.66. I just got coffee and snacks throughout the day as per usual. After work, I was supposed to have dinner with my friends, but there was like time between work and dinner and I got a little hungry, so I got myself a snack that was $8.99 before going to the library, which was free because I just sat there. Dinner was $29.93 and I was really full after, so that was great. And then afterwards we headed over to my friend's place to play board games, and a lot of us like live near each other, so we Ubered together and we split the Uber. The Uber ended up being $10.43 for that day. On Thursday, I had a partial work from home day, which means I started the day in the office, but then I had to like go home because I think on that day my sink was leaking and I needed to call someone to fix it, and I had to be home in order to do that. Subway was still $5.8, and then I think at work I thought about how I was so dissatisfied by my lunch the previous day and I wanted to like start packing my own lunch, so I bought myself lunchbox containers for me to meal prep, and that was $18.78. I got 3 containers. I know technically I can use like takeout containers, but unfortunately the aesthetic matters to me, and I feel like I would be more motivated to like make my own food if I like the container. Had lunch with a friend at a nearby restaurant. With tip, it was $15. It was a bento. I was pretty full. After work, I was like, you know, I haven't had bubble tea in a few days, so I got myself bubble tea. That was $7.5. Did laundry, which was a total of $11.6, and went to get some groceries. And love grocery shopping. I normally go grocery shop for like the coming week, and this week the grocery bill was $44.68, which I would say is like low because I didn't buy chicken and I didn't buy meat because I still have like a lot of meat in my fridge, so that's why the grocery bill was still low. And then on Thursday I made myself dinner, so not counting that. Okay, this is Friday. It was a work from home day, so because the weather wasn't bad, I went to get this bubble tea that was $7.35. I made myself lunch, and then while I was like cleaning my apartment, I realized I was soon gonna be out of detergent, and I was also soon gonna be out of dishwasher pods, and I also was running low on toothpaste, so I restocked all of that. The detergent was $35. The dishwasher suds would be $26.12, and the toothpaste is $6.29. And then I got myself laksa for dinner takeout. That was $16.88, and I spent the rest of the night working / watching K-drama at home alone. On Saturday, I decided to take myself out to Greenpoint. Today we're gonna do a little walk around Greenpoint. Do you wonder if we could run it back? If we could run it, if we could run it back. And do you wonder if we could run all of the things I didn't know? I had to get out down the road. I love Greenpoint so much. There's so many like cute cafes. I normally do yoga there, I work out there, and afterwards I normally thrift and get myself food. Lunch and a hojicha latte. That was $31.57. Yeah, I sat there for a bit, and afterwards I realized that I wanted to go thrifting, so I went to Vegan's Closet and then I started browsing. But after browsing for half an hour, I realized that I promised myself that I wasn't going to spend money on clothes in January, so I pulled away. I walked away and went back home. On the way home, I got myself bubble tea. That was $7.42. This bubble tea was not worth it. Like it wasn't very good. And then I made myself dinner, stayed home, watched TV for the rest of the night until one of my friends texted me and asked me to come over to play board games. And because I was by myself and it was cold and I was tired, I Ubered on the way there and on the way back, totaled to like $42, which is a lot, but safety, you know. I normally don't spend money on Uber. Like I would normally just take the subway, but like when it's like late at night or when it's like really cold, then I would like let myself Uber. And then on Sunday we had lunch at home, so again $0 because I was using like my old ingredients. And then for dinner I went out to see a friend, so I subwayed there and back, and it was like $5.8. Dinner we went to like this place called Le Entrecot, Le Realize something. Not good at French, not French, don't come at me. It's like $35 for double serving steak and fries. It was pretty good. Portion was okay for $35. Believe it or not, $35 is like pretty cheap for eating out in New York. It's kind of like dystopian, but it is. We shared like desserts among the 3 of us, and I also got a rosé, and the total for that was $68.24, which is the most I spent in a meal in that week. My weekly expense is $443.23. I think it's a slightly fair representation of like how I normally spend my money. Let's look at the breakdown. So we have a very ugly pie chart. Yeah, so I do spend an overwhelming amount of my money on food and then a little bit on transport, the rest for like household slash miscellaneous stuff. For food, if I cook more at home, I can like lower the cost. Now we're in monthly expenses, aka the spiciest bit of this whole segment, because my monthly expenses is a lot because of rent. Rent in New York City is really expensive. I love living alone, but I hate the fact that there's no one to like split utility bills with. Thankfully, it's like not that high in this apartment and it's included in this rent, but I would love to be able to split my rent someday. And when I first moved to New York, I had roommates at first, but I think I just felt like I needed my own space, especially since I'm home a lot, working on things a lot. So yeah, it's expensive, but it's something I'm willing to pay for. So rent is $711 the week. I have other monthly subscriptions. For YouTube, I use Thematic, which is $7.99, which allows me to give you music like the stuff you're listening to in the background right now, copyright free, so that one day when I get monetized, I will not get like copyrighted. Really important to me. I use Canva, $14.99, the pro subscription, to allow me to do all my illustrations, thumbnails, and I just love Canva. It allows me to like make cards, stickers, and all that, so I consider that as like a playful monthly expense. And other expenses include iCloud storage, $2.99, Spotify that I share with like a bunch of friends, so that's only $2.9. Phone bill is $30 a month. I'm also on a family plan. I have a personal Atlantic subscription that is $6.58 a month. New York Times, which is $4 a month. ChatGPT, which is $20. TechCrunch, which is $12. Netflix, which is $17. So the reason why my Netflix bill is high is because I share it with my brother and my sister-in-law and my nephew, so there are 4 people on my Netflix. I am paying for all of it because I am a good sister, so that's why my expense is $65.49 total, additional to that YouTube subscription. I know it's a lot. Okay, so that's the video. I do want to talk a little bit about money philosophy. I think it's really important. For me, the most important thing is to be financially independent. Financial independence gives you so much space. Really important for me, especially as a girl, to have my own income. It's something that was taught to me, and it's something I want to keep doing even if I have a significant other, even if I get married. Money is the source of independence. It might not bring you happiness, but it gives you freedom, it gives you independence, it gives you choice, and that's why like I always want to have my own income. I also recognize that I'm incredibly privileged to be able to be in this position of like being financially independent. If I hadn't gotten the education that I did, which my parents paid for and allowed me to receive, I would not be in this position. So I recognize that it's also a privilege to be able to be financially independent in the first place. I also like to watch videos where people talk about money, and it's just like interesting to me how like people are able to make money and have like different sources of income. Yeah, so that's interesting to me. So that is the video. Let me know what you think. If you thought that my expenses were going to be higher or lesser, please be kind. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Love you. Bye.